Assalamu alaikum, it's Melissa here from JIMBS. Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to My Muslim Friend Was Praying Like Jesus, incredible Revert story of Gabriel Al Romaani. And the channel is Towards Eternity. So this video, wow, they have a lot of subscribers, 812,000, that is a lot. This video was uploaded 3 weeks ago with almost 450,000 views at time of recording this. My gosh, that is a lot of reviews. Wow. Okay, so this one goes for about 20 minutes, so make sure you hang around to the end. I will give you my opinion on the video at the end, my reaction. And if you enjoyed this, do give us the thumbs up, leave a comment below, and of course, don't forget to subscribe and share JIMBS with your family and friends. So let's get started. My Muslim friend was praying like Jesus, incredible Revert story of Gabriel Al Romaani. Here we go. We'll push play and we'll get started, and I'll let you know at the end.
How was your life in regards to faith? What were you believing in? What was the thing that made you question your beliefs? What are the 3 biggest challenges you faced when you converted to Islam?
What the heck? What else? Is there anything else? I've tried this, I tried that. Like I remember coming from a party and it's dark, like just walking between the walls and bleeding. And it's painful. And I open the door and it's dark. It's like a back alley or something, or like a garden. And I look at the sky and there's a light. He's praying like Jesus.
Assalamu alaikum, Brother Gabriel Al Romaani. Welcome to our interview and thanks for accepting our invitation. Can you tell us briefly about your life?
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair. I appreciate the invitation. I'm happy to be here. So I was born in 1983 in Romania, in a famous area called Transylvania. A lot of people might know it by that name. And I was born into a mixed Christian family. I mean, I was baptized in 3 churches, in the Catholic, the Orthodox, and the Unitarian Church. Yeah, I was raised in Romania most of my life during the communist regime. And then just after that, basically moved to Canada. And then Islamic studies later, and then specialized into counseling from a positive Islamic psychology perspective, existential counseling as well. So that was something that till today I do, alhamdulillah, and enjoy more than ever, alhamdulillah.
How was your life in regards to faith? What were you believing in?
I could say that from a very young age I was influenced in believing in God, mostly due to my grandma. And she was a very practicing Catholic. And I spent a lot of time with her. And I used to go on the way to school, stop at church, pray, take any of the kids that were walking with me to school. Like I'd force them, you have to come pray. It was like a whole movement in my neighborhood, you know. And then going back home, I used to, again, go to church. Every time I crossed the street, I used to cross myself. Every time I crossed by a church, it was quite practicing. I was reading the Bible. It was not just doing it, like I was attending classes. And my family were quite surprised that at such a young age, I have such a dedication. My grandma, of course, she was very happy. She was like, you're going to be a priest. You know, you're going to be a priest. She always pushed me in the front at the altar next to a priest. And she was very happy and proud. So I became very devout and quite knowledgeable in the Bible and studying, seeing, researching.
What was the thing that made you question your beliefs?
I think the first time I had a serious doubt was a discussion that I had with my Bosnian friend, Kamal. I remember going for a football match. It was summer and we're driving and we're just talking. We used to talk a lot about these things and argue. And I remember he got upset and he's like, look, he's like, do you really believe that Jesus is the Son of God? Like, do you really believe he's the Son? Even though I've been asked the question many times. But that one time I felt a doubt. And actually my fitra didn't resonate with that. So for the first time, I have to be honest with myself and with someone else. In my mind, I paused and I think, wait a second. Like, what's going on here? Something's not right. I need to learn more. And it's a funny incident because I was pushing, he was pushing. I mean, I was trying to take him away from his practice and he was trying to get me closer to God. But I remember one thing, that he never gave up salah, namaz. He would always pray. No matter where we are, it doesn't matter. It's salah time, prayer. We're like walking in downtown. We're going to dance. We're in the dance. Okay, we go outside. He said, come. Time. So I would wait for him, make sure he finished, so no one comes and no one bothers him. So first thing I'm seeing is, wait a second, why is he doing it? And second of all, I was observing how he's doing it. Naturally, I had to ask him, I said, bro, we're dancing, we're chilling, we're doing this, going there, but you're praying. I felt there's a contradiction. He said, no. He said, because I know what I'm doing is wrong, and this is the correct door to God and I cannot close this door. And that made me think. Actually, I felt jealous, to be honest, in my own practice, because I said, I'm not as committed as he is. Yet I feel I'm on the truth. And look at this man, how committed. It's not just that, look at how he prays. And another thing that really got me intellectually was that I was reading the Bible, and the description of the prayer of the prophets in the Bible is the way he prays, by falling on his face, basically, right? That's what they describe as it. It's funny because even the Romanians would make fun of the way the Turks pray. They say they fall on their face. But that's exactly how the Bible describes the prophets. Prophet Jesus himself in the Garden of Gethsemane, he fell on his face to pray to God. So I knew these things. So somehow, even though I've seen him, I've studied it all my life, it never connected. But this day it connected.
And then what happened? Did you talk to him about this?
It was the morning, Fajr time. We're in Toronto, Canada. We went to buy a car. And we were waiting outside of my dad's place. And it was Fajr time, and he was praying. I had to pour water for him. He's making wudu, and he's praying. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, he's praying like Jesus. And I said, bro, like, do you know you guys pray like what's? He says, of course I know, because Jesus was a Muslim. And I was like, no, come on, what do you mean? He's a Christian. He said, no. How can? There's no Christian at that time. You could say in the worst case that he's a Jew, right? Because ethnically that's what they were. But there was no Christianity back then. I was like, he's right. He's right. I have to be honest. He's right. And why don't we pray like that? You don't see the priests go and making sujood. I mean, there's certain sects of Christianity that still do it. So that was, again, a huge hit. Huge doubt came on me to the point that I actually left Christianity. And it was probably those few incidents that really made me leave Christianity. Some of the discussions that I had with the priests in the Catholic high school, my religious teachers, about the theology of the Trinity, I mean, those really solidified my doubts, which was good. Because at least now I had the first part. I believe God exists, but there was something missing. Okay, I believe in God. So the deists, right? They believe in God, but there's something missing. Where's the system? What do I have to do? Where's the direction? That was the next stage in my discovery. But I left Christianity.
After leaving Christianity, how did you come closer to Islam?
And I was just like, young. I was on the football team, starter, superstar. I was in the paper. But I was not happy, man. Like, I remember coming from a party. I mean, even these things were not satisfying anymore. I'm done. I'm done with clubs. I'm already like, I'm exhausted by these things. I don't care about women. I don't care about my cars. I don't care about all these things. Doesn't matter. I'm driving home and laying in my bed, looking at the ceiling and like, what the heck? What else? Is there anything else? I've tried this, I've tried that. I'm not happy, right? And then one night I have this dream where I'm again at a party and doing my thing, and I pass by this girl and she takes a knife and stabs me. And it was like very vivid. It was very real. I felt the pain. I felt the coldness of the blade. And it's dark. And I'm like just walking between the walls, and there's the door, and I go through the door and I'm bleeding and it's painful. And I open the door and it's dark. It's like a back alley or something, or like a garden. And I look at the sky and there was a light in that darkness, and just my soul left. And I woke, as soon as that happened, I woke up and I was sweating and crying. I couldn't stop crying. I was just like one of those, you know, like you can't stop yourself. The first thing I thought something happened, you know, it's a sign. I went to look at my brother and my mom, check on them. Everyone was okay. I went back, I was just crying. I was like literally like wet, like you dipped me in a pool, and like just I sweat the whole bed. I thought I went to the bathroom, you know, literally it never happened to me. But I knew that I got to do something. I knew that it was like God was calling me. And again, I'm not basing my choice just on the dream, but it was something very, very deep, personal to me. Like I had a dream about Jesus one time. It was very interesting because I was driving him. And he was in the back seat and he was laying down. He was tired. And he was wearing a jalabiya, a thobe. And he was wearing running shoes like Adidas. I know, it's a weird dream. He was telling me, I'm tired, Gabriel, you know, I'm tired. And I stopped the car and all these people were coming to him. Oh, Jesus, God. And he looks at me like they're coming around the car. You know, like when there's like a famous person. And he told me, he's like, look at them. They think I'm God and I'm tired. He said, I'm laying down here tired and they think I'm God. It was very vivid. Am I going to base my choice of Islam on this dream or anything like that? No. People keep claiming these things, but these things did matter. Even to other people, they need to realize that God is pushing. That doesn't mean this is what it is. God's opening your mind to question, to understand, to look further. And that's kind of what led me to the next stage where I knew that I have to do something. You know, after the dream, I knew it.
What else happened that attracted you more to Islam?
I remember hearing the Quran for the first time, and it was just so fascinating, so attracted to it that I don't know what it says. I have no clue, right? I don't understand Arabic at that time. But it touched me, the recitation. And I felt when I understood Islam that it was not something new. I felt it was universal. I felt it was a continuation. I didn't feel like I'm changing. I felt like I'm adjusting. Knowing all the prophets, knowing the Old Testament, the New Testament, I felt like Islam was just the last testament. And then finally realizing that Islam is just the continuation of the same message. It makes sense. It's like it was La ilaha illallah, Musa Rasulullah, Isa Rasulullah, Nuh Rasulullah, Ibrahim, and now it's La ilaha Muhammad Rasulullah. Same,
Wow.
There's one constant, which is La ilaha, and there's variables. The prophets changed. It's perfect. It's the only thing that makes sense.
What happened that you finally decided to become a Muslim?
I remember I was in university already, first university, and I met Kamal again. He was in the library, and at that time they didn't, the internet was only on specific places. He was watching a video about death, and it was a nasheed by Ahmed Bukhatir, Less Breath. It was a little animation. It talks about death, and I saw it, and it hit me so hard that what if I'm going to die tomorrow? What am I delaying? By the way, by this time I'm already reading Quran every night, one page. I'm very excited. I remember it was my habit. I would just read a little bit each night. But I felt like it was a debate between me and the Quran. I have all these questions, then I'm reading another page, and the answer's coming. It's like I'm asking more questions. In my mind, I'm talking, no. And then next is the answer again. Yeah. And then I go back home, I can't wait. The Quran is right next to my bed, and I'm just reading, and it's like this fight almost, And many times I felt literally, it's talking to me. Wow. I know people are like, what the heck? But literally, I'll pick it up, and this is my whole day. There's something in my mind, It's like I'm thinking about this question, and I open it, right there. The answer is right there. And the feeling that you get, it's like, what's going on? Allah's watching you. Allah is talking. That's why some of the ulama said, if you want to talk to Allah, make dua. If you want Allah to talk to you, read the Quran.
What were the final steps of your journey to Islam? Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. We saw that 80% of our audience, including this video, are not subscribed to our channel. As you know, we are a non-profit organization and advertisements are disabled on our videos. So the only reason we are asking for this is to spread the truth. It may seem like a small act, but inshallah, it may be a means of guidance for many people. Now let's click the subscribe button and let's together walk towards eternity. What were the final steps of your journey to Islam?
I woke up one day and I was at the lowest. And in my mind, I said, what are you waiting for? You know this is the truth. I went to university and I saw my friend Kamal, and I said, I need you to come to my house tonight. I said, I need your help with something. She said, are you okay? I said, you just have to come. So I said, okay, no problem, I'll come. It was in exams. I was studying with some people upstairs in my house, and Kamal called me from downstairs. I'm here. I said, okay, I'm going to come down. I went downstairs. It was night. And I just looked at him. I said, he said, what's wrong, bro? Are you okay? I said, I want to be a Muslim. And he said, I knew it. He said, I knew it. I said, what do you mean? He's like, remember that long tarawih that we prayed together? He said, in sujood, I was praying all life. This guy is looking for you. Guide him to Islam. Let him embrace Islam. And he just said, repeat after me. I already knew what I have to say. When I said my shahad, I felt that heaviness being lifted from me. Just by saying those words, the way I slept that night was just different.
How did your family and the people around you react to your conversion to Islam?
I think the first person I told was my mom. She was a bit concerned because the same biases she's had that I've had. It's understandable. We started arguing at the beginning, and she would say some insulting things about Islam. I reacted in a very defensive way, not very wise, so I started being very harsh with her. And subhanAllah, I think it's only Allah's blessing because I didn't show a very good example. Even though she did notice changes, but I was very passionate about the choice that I made. But subhanAllah led to her asking for books and trying to understand. I think she was trying to refute me or to show me that it's wrong. And that ended up in her converting to Islam. Yeah. It was maybe a year and a half after me. So that was a big shock because I was not expecting it. And then I told my brother. My brother was quite rough because he would make fun of me, and he was quite angry because of my choice, because I changed, I don't want to do the things that I wanted to do before. And I think my dad I told last, and he didn't really care. And I remember my grandma, she said, I always thought you're going to be a priest. And I said, well, I'm not. And I was talking to her, and she said, what you say makes sense, but I can't. I've been raised this way. I said, but look at what the Bible says. She's like, I never read the Bible. She's like, I only hear what the priest says. And I said, but don't you believe at least what the Bible says? She said, it doesn't matter because I can't change.
Were the Islamic practices like making salah 5 times a day or fasting for a whole month difficult for you at first?
To be honest, at the beginning, salah was not difficult, but I think because of the lifestyle that I had, I was not used to. So I would join my prayers or pray at night or so on. But Fajr, I would always pray in time. I was always a morning person. So I think throughout the day, I would get a bit busy. But very quickly, I was able to adapt. That discipline was very important in life. And Islam gives you that discipline. So I think I got into it quite easily. Fasting was easy. I don't know, I love it.
What are the 3 biggest challenges you faced when you converted to Islam?
Number 1 is that support. We're, in the end, remember, we're beings, social beings. We need love. We need to belong. We need to be accepted, validated. We have emotions. And now you're going against your family, you're going against your community, and people leave you. And you meet the Muslim community who might treat you the same way. Number 2, I would say, like continuing the development, the spiritual and intellectual development. I think a lot of people stop at the Shahada. So before Islam, they're looking, they're searching, reading. Once they become Muslim, there's no more development. It stops, no more knowledge. And last, I believe marriage, because human beings have the need for love and companionship. We expressed that in a different way before Islam, most likely in haram ways. And now you're told that it's not allowed, but you have that desire to bond, to connect. And most converts or reverts, when they come to Islam, one of the first things they want to do is get married. It's one of the most difficult things to do. Right, so I think these 3 issues are the main problems that I experienced, and I've seen others experience as well.
What fascinated you the most after becoming a Muslim?
Traveling was a huge thing, just experiencing different cultures. You see the brotherhood, which is the concept of the ummah. That concept doesn't exist in anything else. That spiritual brotherhood and sisterhood, it's non-existent. You can be a Christian and go to another country and, you walk in the church, you recognize certain things. As a Muslim, you can go anywhere in the world, with all the differences, anywhere, and you face the same qibla, read the same Quran, you have the same, brotherhood. You say the same Salaam Alaikum. I've been to countries where, in Africa, like we had Africans with us, African American, they wouldn't dare to step out of the hotel. And I would leave at Fajr, and then some African brother would drop me back, after giving me breakfast, we prayed together, we read Quran together, and people were like, looking at me coming to the hotel, laughing with them. I don't even speak the language, but we can connect. Africans are looking at me with Africans. They're like, what? And one word. They're like, how do you do it? I say, Islam. I say, Islam. One word, Islam. I think this is a miracle. I don't think it's anything short of it. People really want to open their eyes and get rid of their biases and just see what it is.
What is the trait of the Prophet ﷺ that impressed you the most?
The Prophet ﷺ would always somehow adapt to the people that he used to talk to. It's an amazing trait that he used to have. His behavior would never be the same with all the people. He would always be just. But if a child would come to him, he would adjust. If a desert dweller would come to him, like a Bedouin, he would adjust. If an educated people would come to him, he would adjust. He would adjust to everyone. A woman would talk to him, he would adjust. He would always come down to the level of the people. Even change his speech, even change his behavior. Even sometimes people would ask the same question, but knowing their background, he would give them an answer that they need to actually understand, and that would connect and help them achieve the change that they need in their life. I think that's something amazing.
Give me one important point about Islam that you want the non-Muslims to know.
I think the most important thing about Islam that non-Muslims should know is that Islam is not a religion. It's life itself. If you understand that Islam is a way of life, not a way of life, maybe we have to be careful, is the way of life, is the solution to all your problems, is the answer to all those existential questions that you have. Everyone has it. Don't give me that you don't have it. When you lay down in bed at 11 o'clock at night or 2 a.m., you have insomnia and you're thinking about all these issues, Islam will solve that. Every problem in this world, from racism to corruption to promiscuity, everything Islam can solve.
What projects are you doing right now?
So I'm focused most on 2 projects right now, which is education and counseling. Why? Well, again, as early into Islam, I try to understand where can I fit, which problems can I solve in the ummah. So I felt that education is very much important, and that's more geared now towards Romania, educating Romanians, non-Muslims and Muslims. So we've translated books into Romanian that have never been translated before, like their first. We're talking Mukhtasar al-Tafsir. There's no tafsir in Romanian language, the first tafsir to ever be translated into Romanian language. This will definitely be a huge sadaqah jari, inshallah. We've also translated the Quran and quite a few other books, children classes, elderly classes, and just dawah in general to different non-Muslims.
So what would you like to say as your final comments?
Be sincere. This is probably the most difficult thing in everything you do. Every book of hadith starts with this hadith, إِنَّمَا الْعَمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. Every action is according to its intention. Because it is intention, sincerity, ikhlas. As Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah said that, مَا وَجَدْتُ شَيْءٍ عَلَيْهِ أَشَدُّ مِنْ نِيَّتِي. I didn't find anything more difficult upon me than my intention, sincerity. If you're sincere, if you really want God, you want Allah, you'll find it. You'll find it. So if you're sincere in anything you do in life, I think in the end, the outcome is always going to be positive.
Brother Gabriel, thank you for this beautiful interview and hope you meet again.
Inshallah. Barakallah fiqh. May Allah bless you.
Wow. Beautiful video. He's a really lovely man, Gabriel Al Romaani. I enjoyed that. I like that he gave the insight into the challenges that he had as well, like when he was talking about the marriage and that sort of thing. That was really, really interesting, and I wasn't expecting that. So I think it was a very vulnerable thing for him to share, and someone who's not a Muslim, for me to see a bit of that vulnerability and to understand that, he's on this journey and he's still finding his way and working out what, like he said, where do I fit in this? I really like that from that point of view, because it's authentic, and I really, really value authenticity. So I think this man has really followed what he is meant to do and what his heart and soul say. And I love that. I love that. And it doesn't matter what religion you are or what part of the world. If you are authentic, it shows something from the heart. It shows a little piece of your soul to the world. And I think that's what he did. He explained some things that I didn't realize as well. So I was very intrigued, and particularly because he was Romanian, and that's not usual or typical. As he said, it's not the main religion in Romania. So when he said he's been able to translate a lot of the books or the readings and that sort of thing into Romanian for the first time, he's bringing a piece of that back to his, I know he lives in Canada, but back to the soul of who he is, because he is Romanian. And I think that's really lovely. I think he's done this in a beautiful way. He's followed his heart. He's been honest, and he's also been honest with himself. And, to see the reaction, about his mum eventually becoming, and his friend said, I knew it, and his grandmother accepting him. But she was also, and he probably gets his value from his grandmother, because she said that, it's who she is. Being, was it Christian or Catholic? I'm not too sure. It's who she is. So that's who she is, and this is who he is, and they're able to meet in the middle and be supportive of each other. And that's what I like, to be supportive and to value each other's views, and to know that they are still a good person. Although his grandmother didn't convert, she's still a good person, and she believes in beautiful things. And it's evident in how they treated him when he went to them and said, look, I'm converting. And I think that's really lovely. It was a nice story. And I think something like this is really good for today's time as well. It's 2023, and I think this is a very modern approach as well. He's still following what he believes in, but he's, in my eyes, to listen to him, it answered some questions that I had as well. And so it's really, I don't want to say it's modernizing it, but it's really, I think by him being vulnerable and opening up and just sharing his thoughts and experience, the good and the bad, I think this will really allow people to align with him and to align with the choice that he made, and to be more comfortable with it. And to dispel some of those myths about Islam and you know, the bad myths and things like that. This shows the good. I think it's a lovely video. Well done to Towards Eternity. Great video. I can see why you've had so many views in 3 weeks. My Muslim friend was praying like Jesus. Incredible revert story of Gabriel Al Romaani. Towards Eternity. Well done, guys. Leave us your comments below. Let us know what you thought about it. I enjoyed this. I think he's a really lovely man, and he was very vulnerable, and that spoke volumes to me. You're watching JIMBS. My name is Melissa Mitchell from here in Australia, Abundant Life Studio. Don't forget to subscribe and share JIMBS with your loved ones. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.